All right, with every positive, there's a negative, and we got to talk negative takeaways from the Saints' 26-24 preseason win over the defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City. So this negative we're going to start with isn't really like a wholesale negative, but it's a negative to start the season, I guess. Alvin Kamara is irreplaceable. He, of course, is going to be suspended for the first 3 games of the season for his off-the-field situation, which, by the way, could have been a lot more games. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. The guy, you can't copy him. He is a unique football player, really one of a kind. In this game, the Saints found, when he was in the game, any way they could to get this guy the ball. Screen passes, zone gives, handoffs, short routes. I mean, just put the ball in Kamara's hands and he will make plays. He did that. 12-yard run, 17-yard reception on a screen. He can affect the game in so many different ways, and you're really going to miss that in the first 3 games of the season. You don't have that in Jamal Williams. You don't have that in Kendre Miller. Nobody else on this roster, not even Kareem Hunt, if you signed Kareem Hunt, can do what Alvin Kamara does. So with a new quarterback in Derek Carr, you want all the weapons you can have. And a guy like Kamara, we can call him a quarterback helper, the way he affects the game. You hand him the ball, he'll get you 20 yards. You do the extension of the run game with a screen pass and just swing it out to him, he'll run for 20 yards, if not more. You're not going to have him for the first 3 games. And I specifically came into this game wanting to see if Jamal Williams could show any resemblance of Alvin Kamara. He could not. 9 carries for 28 yards, about 3 per carry. That's pretty much what he did when I watched him in Detroit. Now, what he would also get you is maybe a touchdown or 2 in the red zone inside the 5-yard line. But he didn't really flash a big play potential. He's a take the handoff, cloud of dust, pick up 3 yards. That's probably it. That's what you're going to get from Jamal Williams. And that'll work, but, you know, the offense looked so seamless that first drive when Kamara was in the game and Carr was orchestrating that offense and finding ways to put the ball in Kamara's hands. So you won't have Kamara. Kendre Miller, 4 carries, 5 yards. Blah. 1 reception for a yard. Anybody could do that. I could probably do that. And Miller, who's coming off of an injury in that college football playoff game in college, walked to the medical tent in the 3rd quarter. He did walk there under his own power, but that's something to monitor. I mean, that's one of your high draft picks, and you would hope that maybe he could step in and provide an impact this year at running back, but I don't know. So running back's a big question mark, and that's a negative for me right now going forward. Now, individual negatives. Zach Bond. Again, not really a wholesale negative, but we talked about these things in the shows last week, and check them out if you missed them on WAFB.com/gametime and our YouTube page as well, WAFB. Zach Bond, I wanted to see him specifically in pass coverage because that's the biggest question mark for me with Bond, who plays outside linebacker. Caden Ellis, we talked about this. He's now with the Falcons. He's not on the team. He was really good last year in run support and coverage, a dual-threat linebacker, if you will. I wanted to see if Bond could do that as well. And he could do the run stuff in the blitzing. He had a sack, 3 tackles, and was solid in solidifying that defensive line and stopping runs for Kansas City. But then I think in the back of my head, there's a play that's just burned in there. Kansas City runs a play-action waggle, which is when a running back runs a route out of the backfield, basically. It's just a short route. And he was 3 steps behind said running back, completely out of the play. And that running back picked up 12 yards. And anybody can game plan for that. Heck, Kamara probably does that in practice against Bond and picks up maybe 60, 70 yards, takes it all the way. You need Zach Bond to get his coverage down. He's a 3rd-round pick 3 years ago. It's been a long time. And if you're a high-value draft pick like that, you got to do more than just get an occasional sack and make a couple tackles and run support. Anybody could do that. You can go grab someone from any practice squad on any NFL team, and they can do that for you. Just be a body and tackle somebody when they run at you. I want an athlete that can cover a running back, can run stride for stride with a tight end, and maybe can cover a receiver as well. You don't have that in Bond, and that was a little disheartening for me. Because if you don't have it from Bond, you're going to have to get it from somebody else. So that's another question moving forward. And then Alontae Taylor, as a DB in the NFL, really just in football, you don't want to be the guy who has his jersey number remembered because he got burned on a play. And Alontae Taylor was that guy for me. He got burned on a 43-yard slot fade. I was like, number one, oh, Alontae Taylor. Yeah, you're not going to forget that name when that happens one time. So he struggled in man-to-man coverage. He played really well last year. Didn't play for much of the early portion of the season, then really turned it up towards the end, played 9 of the final 11 games. In fact, started 9 of those final 11, made 45 tackles, and led the team with 11 pass deflections. He had a pass deflection in this game, led to a pick. So some good, some bad, but I don't want a guy that's getting burned for 43-yard routes occasionally. In fact, ever. And Alontae Taylor was that, the former second-round pick in this game. So he's got to clean that up moving forward. It also came like later in the game against Kansas City's like backup. So it wasn't like it was the first or second drive of the game and it was Travis Kelce or whoever Kansas City is playing wide receiver these days. I feel like they switch their wide receivers like every year, and it doesn't matter because they got Patty Mahomes. So Zach Bone, Alontae Taylor, they got to step it up a little bit. Now on the offensive side, real quickly, Jameis Winston, up and down. His stats will show you that he was really good. 11 of 13, 92 yards, touchdown. That's all good. You see those numbers, you're like, oh, great, Jameis, way to go, man. But let's go inside the numbers. Sacked 3 times. Now, that can mean one of two things, and we're going to talk about both things. Winston was a non-factor with his feet. He was slow in the pocket, which he was. He didn't seem comfortable back there. Or the offensive line really struggled, and they did. The backup offensive line, there's going to be some issues this year if some of the starters go down, which they do. Every year there's injuries in that offensive line room because the backups did not give Winston, Jake Haener, much time, much comfortability, if that's even a word. We're going to make it a word. He just didn't seem comfortable back in the pocket. First drive looked good, threw a touchdown to A.T. Perry, but since then, he was here, he was there, and then he's throwing it up into 2 and 3 defenders and nearly getting it picked off, which you cannot have from Jameis Winston. So a lot of good, a lot of bad. And if you want a solid, consistent backup quarterback, I'm not sure you saw enough from neither Winston nor Haener to make a confident decision in who that should be. And then, yeah, I mean, you need that offensive line to improve, especially the backups, because there will be injuries. There will be times when you need to rotate guys in and out. And they allowed Winston to be sacked 3 times. And this is a guy that has pretty good legs. I mean, they're not completely dead. He was a dual-threat quarterback in college, but it did not look like it in this game. So got to shore those things up moving forward. Luckily, there's still 3 preseason games left for the Saints before the regular season kicks in.